Have you ever heard someone talk about UX or user experience? Have you ever wondered what the difference is between UX and UI? Well, you're in the right place. My name is Olivia Kay. I'm the senior UI UX designer at Evolve Systems, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about what user experience is and how important it is. So for this video, we'll be going over the difference between UI and UX, the different areas of UX, why user experience is important, and go over some of our services related to UX. So first up, what is UX or user experience? UX is a field dedicated to making things such as products, websites, games, cars, anything, easier and more enjoyable to use. User experience reduces friction for users, which reduces stress and frustration. I'm sure everyone can relate to going to a website and something not working correctly, not being able to find the right information, or just ending up calling the company instead of being able to find what you're looking for online. It also makes things simpler. The less a user has to think in order to accomplish their goal, the better. Good user experience means happy customers. So, you've probably heard UX used interchangeably with UI. And while UI is a part of UX, they aren't totally the same. Let me explain. UX, or user experience, is a very broad concept that encompasses anything a user or of a product may think or feel while interacting with it. So that's how buttons look, how buttons feel when you press them, how big they are. As you can see, some of this overlaps with UI. So if you don't know what UI is short for user interface. So that is how things visually look. It is a really big part of user experience, and a lot of the time they're used interchangeably for a reason. So, UI encompasses the visual look and feel of a product, so text styles and button styles. As I mentioned, there's a lot of overlap. For example, selecting a WordPress theme is both a UX and a UI task because you need to make sure that the theme is functional and interacts the way that you expect it to, but you also want it to look good as well. So, if you are a visual person like me, here's sort of a visual representation of the difference between UI and UX. So, UI is primarily the look and feel, so the colors, the text, the buttons, um, any animations, uh, images, things like that. UX is the function and the experience of a website, app, game, whatever. It encompasses how the information is laid out and the general flow of content. So, there are a lot of things that go into user experience. Some very common ones that you've probably seen before are things like sitemaps, your user journey. That's very similar if you have used a customer journey in marketing or sales. It's almost the same thing, but it's specific to a website, for example, or an app or something like that. User research, again, overlaps a lot with marketing. If you know who your customer is and you know their demographics, that's also part of user experience. User testing. I love user testing. You don't know how exactly people are going to react to your app, product, or website unless you get it in front of them. Interaction design. It is very similar to everything that we've gone over, but it's very specific to how people interact with something. As you'll see, a lot of things are very interconnected in UX. So we've already gone over UI design. UX writing is a kind of newer field that is basically the center point between copywriting and UX. So, for example, what text goes on a button? Or if something needs extra instructions for how to do something. And lastly, accessibility. Accessibility is super important. You need to be able to make sure that your website, your app, is usable by as many people as possible. So, why is all of this important? Now, if you have been in the digital marketing world at all, you know that your website is your 24/7 salesperson. So, from that perspective, don't you care how people are thinking and feeling about interacting with that salesperson? Don't you care about how that person is being perceived? If they're doing a good job? While making a website or product more user friendly should be an easy sell, it often isn't. With all design work, it's difficult to prove ROI, but the consequences of bad UX are detrimental. Users won't stay on the site for long if they can't find the information they're looking for. A bad UX often leads to really high bounce rates. Good UX turns the right visitors into leads and delights existing clients. Bad UX can lose trust with users, dampen your reputation, and make good leads bounce. And worst of all, it can make people stressed out. So, if you're looking to improve the UX of your website, here are some things that we can do at Evolve Systems. So, these are our audits. So, if you're just looking to figure out where you need help, we can do a custom audit that encompasses all of these things and more. Or we can do a very specific UX audit, a mobile audit to make sure that your website is working well on mobile, especially since more and more people are using their phones to access the internet and your website. And lastly, accessibility audits. Lastly, our bread and butter is websites. If your website is in need of a UX overhaul, our websites are built from the ground up with UX in mind. From deciding what web platform is best for your users to the colors, fonts, and interactions on your site. Our expertise is the sweet spot between user experience and marketing, making your website work for you as well as your users. So, improving the usability of your website, as well as making it easy for potential clients to become customers. So, if you are interested in working with us or you'd like to learn more, please reach out to us. On the screen is our website as well as an email that you can use. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope to hear from you soon.